we're getting ready. Players are getting set up. As I mentioned earlier, I haven't seen, I'm going to pull out Travis's deck list, but Travis playing the Wild Cakes Max deck.
Yeah.
So for those who haven't seen, it's playing Faust, Wild Side, which seems absurd out of Max given that she's already got free card draw, but it's basically trying to load up the hand, use Max to always have cards in hand. It plays 2 Leviair accesses, so you're cycling your deck at a very fast rate.
Right.
And it just, all the account siphons, all the recursion, all the normal Max stuff.
So it's
but it is very
gonna
effective.
It's going to be fast enough to
Exactly.
sort of answer this.
I
NEH
think this is a
play.
phenomenal matchup. Travis told me earlier they played first round. He said my hand was absolute garbage first game, so I can never have a draw quite that bad. So I think he feels good. Like if he gets to play a game of Netrunner where he gets a decent hand, I think he feels very good in this matchup. Obviously, Ahmed, very accomplished player, knows his way around an NEH deck. I'm not sure, seeing Max, I'm not sure he knows exactly what he's going against yet. In terms of, I don't know if he saw enough of Travis's deck to really fully, I mean, there's different versions of this deck that are out there. So
Ahmed has played against you numerous times on
this
Max.
Is true.
So
this is true.
He'll know it's coming.
This is true. So I'm just getting deck lists, but players are getting ready. So looking at Travis's side, I think Wild Side, clearly one of the most important cards to look for early. You want to get that hand loaded up. Most of the rest will come later. Looks like a solid NEH hand for Ahmed. Got ice, got money. So got a sweep. All right, so protects R&D. Don't know what he's expecting. Sees the turntable, which is very nice.
There's the Liberated.
Yeah, great opening play. Get on the board, get some money. And this is what I love about Max. She's been my favorite identity in the game ever since she came out. I love identities that draw cards, and this deck just takes it to a whole new level. Why not draw all the cards?
Travis trying to put the Liberated account money straight on Max.
Yeah.
Turns out it doesn't work quite
It'll get there eventually, Travis. We promise. It'll get there. So it's got Liberated. Ahmed just trying to kind of build the hand, get set up.
Yeah, so that's going to be good for him.
Yeah, and we saw this in the last game. Ahmed did very well. Clearly has enough economy in the deck to support him over the long game, and he was pretty rich in the last game that we saw on camera.
That being said, he's got some agendas in hand that aren't really ideal. I think a 15 minutes in an NAPD.
Yeah.
That being said, again, having an NAPD stolen for 4 credits, and then in 15 minutes you can call back to your score areas is not bad.
Good draw for Travis. I've had worse. He just needs to get all his key pieces assembled, and so anything that draws him cards at this point and helps him get set up, those are really the key cards in the matchup. Get some recursion down just to make sure he doesn't have to discard, and then just use his Liberated. I like this play. So now Ahmed, I mean, he's protected. He's got ice out. He's starting to build his board. What are you looking for? I think at this point, DBS is nice, but I think he's just got to dig for a biotic at this point, or get some ice going.
Yeah, and on the flip side, Travis is looking for pressure cards, and so actually, like legwork, it's a good pressure card.
All right, so now we're going to start running. All right, so lost a click from Enigma. This could be big because we could see the legwork into the pop-up one. Now that he knows, and now that I'm at rezzed. All right, and he's clearly got enough money to go in there and get the NAPD.
That's actually huge.
I think,
by
legwork,
doing that,
perfect play.
Filters it out. He gets to see all 3 of those cards, right?
Yeah, this is perfect.
Or is Ahmed on 4?
Now, one of them is a 15 minutes, but still, so,
You absolutely steal that.
Yeah, so steals the NAPD.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hit early, right? You don't
takes
really
the
like
15
paying
minutes.
4 for it, but.
All right, so leaves him with just the shipment in hand. And Jackson will help draw him a card, but at this point, especially with the same old thing on board, you need to get ice, because if I'm Travis, I'm just camping HQ. And when I have enough money, and if he has 4 cards in hand, you either siphon your legwork. And, we just saw the Astro in the hand. So, right, if I'm Travis, you see him draw that many cards, I'm curious whether or not he just legworks and goes again. And then, okay, so this is, I like the play from Ahmed. Puts the Moomba Temple
Just
down to
wild
represent
side
Agenda.
and pancakes hit the bin for Travis. Not ideal.
He does have a pancake in hand, but yeah, the wild side going. I imagine he might just, I've had worse, try to draw up and get some key pieces if he's not planning to try and legwork again. I'm curious as to what he thinks he does not have the Faust in hand yet. Yeah, I like this. Just dig for it, see if you can find it. So there you go. You got Faust, you got David. You got everything you need at this point to challenge a remote. All right, so reses the Moomba Temple, knows it's not an agenda. Yep. So he knows what he's up against at this point, and then he's just going to clear out Liberate, last money from Eliminated. So he passes turn with 9 credits, and now he's at the point where, I mean, he's starting to get a pretty stacked hand. He's getting the key pieces he needs to start challenging the remotes. And I mentioned it earlier, but this pop-up window, Ahmed's going to have to get something better than that.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Travis is just waiting for the account siphons to show up.
So he pitches the adjusted chronotype, it looked like. That's interesting. I don't know how many of those. I'm trying to look down and see exactly how many he's running.
Well, maybe without having seen Wildside this early, he's thinking, I just have to wait for it to come back after a levy or something. And maybe. He just milled another one. He has a levy now, but.
Very interesting.
So just Ahmed trying to do the mental math, figure out what he's vulnerable to, what moves he can make here that Travis can't punish him for.
Because we see that Astro in hand, and at this point he's just got to be thinking, how do I protect this and make sure he knows the legwork, he sees the same old thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I looked away.
Oh yeah, there it is. It's true. Yeah, sorry. Astro's.
I'm looking away. See.
I'm gathering deck lists here.
Yes, we're trying to get deck lists and get sorted out. All right, so we get the Liberated accounts going.
Yeah, it's good that he's going to have sort of this constant influx of a decent amount of credits because he was already getting low after that first Liberated. Yep. And it's also good we see that Ahmed's down to 4. That's really going to be ideal for him to be able to siphon that.
Other than wraparound.
Scores a Beal, wow. Just one single axis on R&D and he scores a Beal, putting him at 5.
This can happen. He has not seen the medium yet, so I'm sure he's waiting to try and get that hand to get some pressure.
That being said, I'm sure Ahmed's running at least 2 CBS. Yeah, 2.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, there's nothing really here. I mean, I'm looking through the ice suite for Ahmed. There's nothing really that is terribly punishing to the Faust-David combination. I mean, you've got Architect, he's splash 4, there's no Swordsman, there's only 2 wraparound. And again, all of those are pretty soft to David. He has I'm trying to see if there's anything else, the Bastion that is just 2 cards. Yep. So once this deck gets going, I think it's very easy for Travis to get where he needs to go. The question is going to be, does Ahmed find the next Astro script?
Right.
And does he kind of get it assembled now? Travis has been holding onto that turntable for a while. I think he's got to, now having scored that Beal, and think of installing that. I mean, that's a missed opportunity if you look at the last play. I think debating whether he wants to go. Does not have the wild side down, so does not have a crazy amount of cards in hand to be throwing them away.
Yeah, and he already tossed one other same old thing to break into R&D, and so probably wants to play Levy straight from hand and save the same old thing. Although at that point, I guess the same old thing's not doing a lot of good. So I'm really amazed he hasn't hit the account siphon, you know?
Sorry.
With Ahmed on 4 credits.
He actually, does he have one in hand?
Well, no, he has the one in archives that he can same old.
Oh, he does, okay.
So it's really interesting to see that. Maybe worried that he's going to have to pitch the levy to break something with Faust. But at this point, he knows there's a pop-up in front of HQ. So there we go. Same old thing for legwork. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I like this.
Though he just ran R&D, so he knows the top card. Oh, I guess he scored a Beal off of it, so he doesn't know.
All right, pop-up. Just a
Double
handful of
pop-up.
ugly pop-ups. So Ahmed drawing up, sees another Moomba Temple. So at this point, NEH doing what it wants. So it sees the third one here. So at this point, that toll booth is going to come online for next to no money.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think this is going to be a great way to seal off R&D.
Not sure why he chose to.
So it's used up. No, refresh. I use it at the end of your turn to refresh.
Not sure why he chose to same old the legwork over the account siphon. Maybe thinking that he's further behind than he is in terms of.
Yeah, I actually don't.
Didn't he? He already siphoned once earlier, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he is playing Siphon looking at the deck list. I think his
really?
influence, yeah, it's career fairs,
So we just assumed.
legwork. Yeah, I think he may have made a change. I've played with Travis a decent amount, and I think he's
That's my bad.
made some tweaks. 2 levies, and yeah, he made room for an E3 feedback.
I guess that makes sense with the 2 levies. Like, you don't have the influence.
Yeah, I think before today he was actually playing one, and I think he changed it out to make room for a couple of cards.
Yeah.
So at this point, I mean, Ahmed does not have enough. He doesn't have all of the Moomba temples online, but I've got to imagine that that toll booth is going to do some work, even with the David on the board.
Yeah. Yeah. Not the liberated accounts are all gone.
All right. So Travis at this point, I mean, there's only one medium in the deck, so it's not unexpected that he hasn't seen it yet. But it is tough to keep running through a toll booth when you're only seeing it a card at a time. Now, what he does have a spoon in the deck, and so we very easily, if he keeps his David counters out there, this toll booth may not be long for this world, knowing how much recursion he runs, and having the David, and that's as efficient a way as you're going to get to deal with that.
Other than a Fem.
This is true. Fem
Splash that
Fem
tech
is good.
Fem.
I've been playing Fem retrieval run for a very long time, and it's very effective.
Yeah, Travis, I guess is in a tough position here. Now that I know there's no account siphon.
Yeah.
Because he's got the levy in hand, I think, still, and 2 same old things in the bin, and a lot of sort of his tech that he needed to see earlier also in the bin.
Okay, so he's discarding. All right, so we mill. We get an imp out there.
So it might make sense here at this point to sure gamble levy.
Oh wait, does he have
Pretty
5
soon.
credits?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the.
That's each of those blues I think is 5.
Okay.
Or maybe 2.
Sorry, I'm just trying
So
to
each of those
figure
was
out
2.
the.
So now he's
all
on
right.
5 credits. He's got a 5-card hand.
There we go. All right, that's what I need.
So that's pretty good. That's essentially a draw 5.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to get him a look at some new cards. Not in a great position money-wise. Getting into R&D, for instance, is going to be tough.
Yeah, the nice thing is going to be. Okay, so he gets wild side,
And
clearly not on
pancakes.
time. I'm curious to see, but he does have a career fair to be able to jam it out, and pancakes, to your point.
So maybe he just drops both.
I mean, this is a deck that depends on drawing a lot of cards, so it would not surprise me, even if you kind of see it late. I think there's a lot of value of seeing 3 free cards a turn.
Right.
You're going to see money as you draw into that.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of what Travis is having to decide right now. Is how long he can slow the game.
Yeah.
Like, can he afford that slowdown in tempo? But to be fair, the only place he's getting it now is HQ. I think it's
Yeah,
pretty
I
clear
like
Ahmed
this play.
doesn't have stuff here. Yeah, I think this is correct.
Yep. All right. So now he's got the pair assembled. He knows he's going to be seeing 3 cards a turn guaranteed.
Of course, this is good for Ahmed,
Yeah.
seeing the DVS, because he needs to be able to filter out and sort of see what's going on. And now he's going to double sweeps, probably. Oh, wait, no, I guess Travis is down to 3 cards.
Yeah,
so
he's
wait
down
until
now.
for a turn or two.
But yeah, I like
My guess
this.
is Travis might not be on 5 cards for a little while because he's going to be drawing and spending them immediately on Faust. For instance, that Sure Gamble, you maybe don't even, well, he can't afford it for one thing.
Yeah.
So that might end up just being fuel for Faust.
Yeah, I think he can.
How many face down?
Yeah, so trying to figure out how many face down are there.
Oh, my life, dude. You ruined my life with those numbers.
Travis feeling the pressure a little bit.
Gain 3 and gamble.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Can't do anything without money.
Yeah.
When the medium shows up, he's definitely going to need to be able to get that down and go. Going to need to be able to pay for spoon, so I like that a lot.
Yeah, he's got the other David in hand as well, so certainly not in a terrible position.
All right, so I've got to imagine this Beal is getting scored.
Yeah. Not great to see a deja vu.
Yeah, this is the problem: is that Career Fair Daily Cast is great, but it is not. It's not relevant.
Yeah. Well, so now at this point it's fuel. I think that's all it is.
Yeah. And Ahmed with the sweeps weeks in hand. I mean, he's just waiting to top deck anything. Has got the Astro out. We see the Imp in Travis's hand. I'm curious whether he goes after the Sand. I don't know that it's terribly relevant, but we know that Ahmed is running the 3 NAPD in his deck, so maybe to try and shut that down, someone and make him have Biotic and Astro counter, maybe that could slow the game down slightly, but still, that's a tough spot to be in. All right, so he does get the Imp. Decides to go into R&D and see what he can find there. Turntable here would be huge, so or getting an agenda so he could turntable would be nice. Yeah, trying to figure out what he's going to pitch.
Yeah, we did just update the score. I didn't realize that was the breaking news that was down there. So it is 5-4, not 4 or not 6-4, which is pretty relevant. Although Travis not seeming to agree.
No,
thinking it's pretty over. I mean, you get through that toll booth and you're looking pretty good, I think.
I'm curious why.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
So he used.
Wow, this is interesting. I'm not sure why.
I don't know that I would have imped the wrapper. I understand the threat that it poses of giving you yet another thing you've got to spend David counters on, but
it gives Ahmed a draw.
It does. It gives him a draw, and it leaves the Sand there where you otherwise could have trashed that. And I don't know. If I'm playing to my outs at this point, which I think Travis clearly has to be, I don't know that wraparound was an important enough card. Ahmed doesn't even have enough money to really invest into that, knowing that he needs to get the fast advance going.
If he gives him the wraparound, Ahmed just drops that in front of R&D as well. And
wait, did he use 2 imp tokens in a turn?
Well, it doesn't matter. It goes away because.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. So by giving him the wraparound, Ahmed can drop wraparound in front of R&D, and then R&D's just locked out, essentially.
Well, he's got the David, and I guess that's the question: is what's his game plan for getting back in? He doesn't have medium, and it's almost like that's not his best bet right now until he has it. I feel like he really needs to deal with that toll booth. And yeah, so now he's got Biotic in hand.
Yeah, so now even NAPD is locked.
Now Ahmed's just digging for agendas at this point.
You got there. Come on.
I think Travis just trying to end the madness and get Ahmed to score the agenda. He knows he's slow rolling.
Confused as to why Ahmed is not. Wow.
Well, we saw Ahmed build a 7 deep R&D earlier. Maybe he just doesn't realize again. Maybe he thinks he's playing engineering the future.
On 5 credits, don't you just play the hedge fund there?
Seems reasonable.
But instead he goes to 3. So now he can't.
Yeah, spooned on time.
I'm confused.
Always on time. And that is some of the challenge of Max, right? You can put all these one-ofs in your deck, and you can reliably see them, but you don't always draw them at the right time.
He can play I've had worse here. Oh, then he doesn't have money for the toll booth. If it's another toll booth, it doesn't matter. He can't afford it, right? No, he can. He can still afford it.
Moomba Temple is a good card.
Yeah, this is rough. This is pretty rough.
Yeah, I think at this point, you have no imp counter. I mean, you really do have to just see cards. I like this. You just get some options.
Season Another I've had worse, I think. Oh, no, that's a liberated account. Liberated account would be better here than that daily casts he played with the career fair.
It would.
But that ship has sailed.
That is the card we played. Yeah, so Ahmed just with the stacked hand at this point. I mean, if he doesn't draw the agenda, he can get money. And as we said earlier, Moomba Temple is definitely the real deal and has absolutely been huge for all of the NEH decks we've seen on camera today. Been very interesting to see how they've incorporated this. It's allowed them to, I think, more easily justify playing multiple daily business shows, which has always been a good card, but you haven't always seen it in the NEH decks.
Right.
And I think you're seeing a new look at NEH. A lot of the same cards, the same win condition, but I think some of these cards, the fact that they operate on such low money at this point, and the fact that the Moomba Temple interaction with Sansan, of being able to res that, allow you to play a card like Toll Booth and potentially res that, whereas before, that was kind of a stretch for a lot of the NEH decks.
Right.
But very interesting to see.
Yeah, and I think Travis recognizes that it really doesn't matter like when Ahmed draws the agenda because it's just going to get scored immediately. It's
Yeah, not a whole lot he can do.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Not a whole lot.
And it's
so once again,
really no way for him to get back into R&D here.
Ahmed cannot draw an agenda to save his life.
Yeah. Hey, maybe he'll mill.
Yeah.
What if he mills? There's
All
an
right.
APD.
Dig with Jackson. Well, he finds it.
He can't afford the NAPD Biotic, though, so he's going to have to wait a turn.
How is this not over?
He's saying, how is this not over?
So if Travis goes and trashes the NAPD now, Ahmed is forced to Biotic. No, he's not. He can just... No, yeah, he is, right?
Yeah.
He has to drop NAPD.
That's right.
Or draw another one, I guess.
Yeah, I think Travis just trying to kind of identify any possible outs he has. I mean, really the only thing at this point that could do much of anything is if he could find an agenda to turntable. But
yeah,
like you said, that's
it.
When you're on this low of money, that's kind of a tall order.
And Ahmed at this point can probably, like, honestly say, do I need to try and score the NAPD, like, if he goes for the Sansan.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I think your best play, I don't know that he, depending on what Travis reads, I think having drawn that many cards, he can probably safely assume Ahmed has maybe one in hand. You could try to do the Hail Mary run to the hand and try to pull one out of the hand and turntable it. Because I don't know that R&D is looking like going to zero. You might hit an NAPD anyway. I don't know that that's a real high, especially now. I mean, I don't know that's a real high percentage play. Not that seeing one card off of HQ is, but these are desperate times, and they call for desperate measures.
And if he scores it, he can turntable the Astro off, right?
Yeah. And this is what I love about this NEH deck. I really love the synergy of all the cards, and the Scorch version that was played for so much of last year was very powerful. I always like decks with a lot of synergy, and I think that Moomba Temple in these decks have really. It's really cool to see all the interactions, to see it work together. NEH always been a good identity, but I think this feels a little bit more NBN than always seeing a Scorch variety. So I'm happy that the meta has moved on from seeing Scorch in all yellow formats.
Run HQ, Travis. Just run HQ.
YOLO HQ run is never a bad decision when the game is on the line and there's 4 ice deep on R&D.
Right, yeah. In this exact situation, in exactly
this,
is
HQ
ideal.
feels awesome right now.
What's he doing? Just playing another David for 3, or is that 4? He's got one more click, right?
All right, so we're trying
to R&D.
He will not. The man will not be denied off of R&D.
Well, unfortunately, this is going to be like an architect or something silly, right?
All right, Travis. Game is here.
All right, so no res on the top. Moving on.
There's the second
Right.
toll booth.
Second toll booth.
And now Travis recognizes that this is going to be pretty silly.
Well, he can pay through this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be
Yeah.
gross, but again, he just needs to hit an Astro or something to turntable. It's not a great play, and we know it's not even a winning
oh my
play.
gosh,
But
he gets a Beal. He gets a Beal to turntable it. I mean, in
But
the
he's
grand
got-
scheme of things, Ahmed only has 4 credits now because he had to res that toll booth.
I don't
Yeah.
think it doesn't matter. I think game in right here.
1, 2, 3.
this is
Oh yeah, he finds the Astro. Okay, there it is.
there. It is.
That's too bad.
Oh no, I shouldn't have res.
Good card. Daily Business Show, finding you exactly what you
Yeah.
need. Now, that was a good game. Travis played to his outs, and I think that's a good example. Good player. When you get behind,
Yeah. Imagine if that had been the 15 minutes.
right?
If that had been the 15 minutes, Ahmed scores that still.
Yeah.
But now, like, Travis has another turn.
This is true. Good match.
Oh, man.